Did I do it? Am I doing it? Am I on? Y'all. Hello. Hello. There we go. Can you all hear me? Oof. Oof. Man. I feel like this morning has just been just like this week. It's been a nightmare of a week. Good morning, everyone. I see so many of you here today already, so thank you for joining us. Good morning. Good morning, Tall Glass. Good morning, Denaya. Good morning, Red Bunny. Good morning, Dee. Good morning, JC. Good morning, Tanika. Good morning, Corey. Yes, happy Friday, everyone. Y'all, I feel like when we have like a 3-day weekend and it ends up being more of a pain in the butt than like when we have a regular 5-day week. You know, like to me, it always seems that I end up having to work more and extra and catch up and do this. And we've also been having these crazy storms here in Texas and in Dallas in particular. So it's been wild. Good morning, everyone. Good morning, she shall. Someday I'm going to say it right. Good morning. I'm so glad that all of you are here. Thank you so much for joining us. We're going to get right into it. I am lcadilac, and I am an attorney in Dallas, Texas. I am a litigation attorney. I do civil, mainly real estate related legal work, and that means that I end up in a courtroom quite a bit. I was in fact supposed to be in trial on Monday, but at the 11th hour on Wednesday, even though I have submitted a witness and evidence list, I mean, I have trial binders, I'm ready to go, we ended up working out a settlement. So no trial on Friday, but I know it's like seashell, but seeing it as it messes with my brain. So anyhow, I was ready to go for trial. We got it all settled. No trial Monday. What a relief. I mean, it just stresses me out. The reason is because I'm really good at it and I really don't like to lose. And so, like, as I was preparing for this trial, like I said, I have these binders ready. I made my witness list. I made my evidence list. And then I figure out how can I get all of this evidence in if this witness isn't allowed. Then I figure out who I can get the evidence in. If this witness isn't allowed, what can I get in? If this piece of evidence isn't allowed, where can I get something else that would be? Do you understand? I have to go through and then before that even we go to the causes of action and the elements of the cause of action, and I go, okay, which piece of evidence proves this, and so on and so forth. So I was ready to do that. I did all of that work and I was ready to go to court on Monday, but no need because we got an agreement, thank goodness. So when I talk to you about the prosecution on this young thug RICO, it is wild to me because I just barely speckled to you what I did to get ready for my 4 to 6 hour trial. 4 to 6 hour trial takes, I say for every day of trial, you have like 3 days of prep, okay? If you want to win, if you're a winner and you want to do it right and you want to follow the rules. And to me, a lot of what we're seeing here with this prosecution is the fact that they didn't put in 3 days per one, 3 to 1, right? So, all right, good morning, everyone. So today we're going to talk about this week in review. Before I jump in, I do want to remind everyone that I am going to Atlanta on August 13th and 14th. I have booked the airplane tickets. I have found a place to sleep that night, and I am still working on a venue for a meet and greet in the evening, and obviously our venue during the day is going to be the Fulton County Courthouse. I'm very, very excited. One thing I really want to ask the lawyers, if I can talk to them, is what they believe Glanville means when he says that he sustains a question. I want to know what that means to them. From their behavior, and I was paying particular attention this week to that issue because this week was quite frankly pretty boring. So I was trying to pay attention to like the little quirks and stuff. And I feel that this week, based off my observations, I do believe that they consider that as him sustaining the objection, because it seems like they'll try to rephrase after he says that. But Seashell, oh, I'm so glad you're going to come. I can't wait for all of you to come in August. It's going to be, I cannot wait. I'm so excited. I've never really wanted to go to Atlanta really that much. And here I am just, ooh, I can't wait to go to Atlanta. I can't wait to meet y'all in person. So before we get even further, I am 1/4 of the way to my goal of buying a new computer, which means a better sound and visual and everything for y'all. And I wanted to thank everyone who has helped me support reaching that goal. That's everyone who's joined the membership. Thank you so much. My members are amazing. Everyone who gives us a sticker on here or you know, sends money during a live. I've had quite a few people send money to Cashapp. I really appreciate it. And of course, when you watch, when you share with your friends, when you hit like, all that good stuff, it helps me get closer to my goal of having a better computer. I really want to have the computer before I go to Atlanta because I want to be able to set up the computer and my phone and do a live from Atlanta, maybe with Miss Sylvia. And I did see here in the comments that there was some drama between Miss Sylvia and E-Man, and I am not part of that. I don't know anything about it, and that's awful. But personally, I am not interested in drama in the courtroom when I'm being paid. I love drama when I'm being paid for it. Or if it's after work and I'm watching, you know, like a trashy reality TV show. I love that crap too. Okay. So this week, guys, we started with If King Brown. I gotta tell you, like, he clearly did not do mock trial in law school. It's very clear that he didn't get the mock trial experience in law school the way I did. Okay, I was in mock trial my second and third year. My second year, I had not yet taken evidence, so I was kind of learning all of that as I was in mock trial. I was a single mother. I would take my son, who, by the way, is doing great at UT. Okay, he's doing great. Hook 'em horns. I'm a UT mom. I'm a Longhorn mom. He likes to harass me. He pointed at like the Longhorn grandma hat, was like, that's gonna be you. And I'm like, don't you dare. But we had a great time. So thank you everyone who has sent well wishes. I hope you all enjoyed your 3-day weekend as much as I did mine. So I would drag my son to mock trial. I'm talking every night. We would go downtown and I would load this little child who's like 4. Back then we had like portable DVD players, or I didn't because I was too poor. So I had my laptop and I would turn on like videos, you know, like Cars, the movie Cars. We watched that so many. Then there were toys and stuff. And then of course my mock trial partners would help me. And then eventually he had a little friend in daycare whose mom would pick him up every day. She's like, please let me take him so he doesn't have to go to mock trial. And he also helps my kid, you know, be a better kid. So I was like, cool, done, awesome. What mock trial does for you is it teaches you how to present in a courtroom, okay? It teaches you, I'm not going to say everything you need to know because there's always stuff that comes up. There's new things. It's a practice. It's the practice of law because it can't ever be perfected. It's always different and changing, right? But in mock trial, you learn a lot about presentation, speaking skills. You know, I tell people to do mock trial, even if they don't want to be a trial lawyer, you do mock trial because you learn how to create a presentation for a particular audience. So for instance, my audience on Monday was going to be the judge. So I created my presentation specifically knowing, you know, who she is, what her background is, so on. But if I had a jury, my presentation is going to be a little different because they have different backgrounds. They don't have a legal background. All right. So you learn kind of like how to present to your audience and all these super valuable skills that even if you never actually go into a courtroom, you will use all the time. I used all the time in corporate America. He clearly did not do that. Okay. He, yeah, if King Brown, that's what I'm like, he does it. He can't be on the same level as YFN Glanville. I'm just not going to let him. So he's if King Brown because I just, he's just such a poor presenter. You could tell he really tries. Remember last week he was starting to use words that Steel uses, and he's starting to try. And so you could tell he's trying, but he is just not good at it yet. All right, so this is definitely, this is his practice. You know how doctors, they have to do a residency, right? Where they go to medical school, they do all that stuff. Then they go and they be like low-level peons that just like observe other doctors, maybe get to do some grunt work, that kind of thing during a residency. And that's really where they learn medicine, because like you can learn all this book stuff, but like until you're actually doing it, that's kind of what we're watching Brown do here. This is his residency, okay? So it's a little annoying for all of us, but this is how we started the week. And I gotta say, I couldn't count the uhs and ums because it's just too many, but it was annoying.
All right, now showing you State's Exhibit 216, Yankee.
It also bothered me that he wasn't speaking into a damn mic. Like, I know the jury can hear him, the witness can hear him, the court reporter can hear him, that's all that really matters. But y'all know you're on TV. You're just talking to the mic.
What reason did you take a picture of this item here?
Just a cell phone on the scene. Again, any cell phones we collect.
All right, what marker number did you sign?
42.
And did you plot that point on your diagram?
I did.
Hold on one second. I want to say everyone who's here, thank you so much for being here. Good morning to everyone. I can't name you all by name right now, but I just need to point this out. Here we go. Oh, shoot, Lord. There. Okay. Right there. You see that? Alcatel?
All right, what marker number did you sign?
Alcatel. That is so effing old. Like, I can't even. Alcatel was combined with Lucent, and I feel like that happened in the 10s, and maybe Alcatel's on its own by 15. But you know, this is like ancient times based off the cell phone. It's funny now when you go watch a movie. Okay, like Zoolander. Oh God, I love that movie. Such a classic. So funny. Love that movie. When you go watch Zoolander and he has like the mini cell phone and stuff, it's so funny because like it really makes you feel old. You're like, oh dang, I remember when phones looked like that, and I was actually alive then. This Alcatel phone right here, it puts me in the same spot. It's that nostalgia, like, wow, that's so long ago. Might as well be a Nokia, you know, like, so to me as a juror, like, why am I seeing a picture of an Alcatel phone? Like, why is it 2024 and I'm seeing evidence from the 1850s here? Like, this is ridiculous. I just don't get it. I don't know, man. I don't know. That's an old phone. This is old evidence because this is an old incident. I haven't heard any incidents in the 2000s, the 20s.
42.
And did you plot that point on your diagram?
I did.
And can you show the jury where it's located on 284 Yankee Golf?
There you go.
Now showing you what's been marked as State's Exhibit 217 Yankee, and it's evidence. What are we looking at here in this
Evidentiary value would be the keys, number 43.
What's that straw thing?
And excuse me, did you also plot that same marker identifying that what is going to contain in State's Exhibit 217 Yankee on your diagram which is States Exhibit 284 Yankee Golf.
Yes.
Can you show the trigger that is pointed? Fire.
Right here.
All right. Now show you States Exhibit.
Okay, hi YSL Grim, thank you for joining. I watched a documentary on 2 Chainz, who happens to be one of my favorite hip-hop artists of all time. I love him, he's a Virgo, he's amazing. And in that documentary, they interviewed his mother, and his mother explained that a trap house is anywhere you do your business and make your money. She even said, so a dentist and a doctor, their medical office is their trap house. And I was like, oh my God, that's so fun. My office is my trap house. And my office phone is my trap phone. How exciting, right? And so we would call the office cell phone the trap phone because that's a phone that made us money. This little disposable phone, I have always called a burner phone. So to me, like, the trap phone is the one that makes you money. Now, maybe that was a trap phone. Maybe they were making money off that burner phone. But I have always equated, thanks to 2 Chainz mom, trap with earning money. That's a nice way that she defined it, I thought. Good morning, Love Nono Creation. Good morning, Nick. Good morning, Miss Trial. I'm so glad you're here too. This is a very boring witness, and I feel like the whole week I was just bored.
Yes.
Why did you take a picture of this particular view of the barbershop?
There appeared to be, from what we could see, a bunch of bullet defects on the.
Just so you know, that barbershop, this exact barbershop, is on like every other block in Oak Cliff.
Front of the barbershop.
Okay. Now showing you.
Mr. Brown, before you continue, Ms. Williams and a representative from the state, can I see you for a second?
Okay, now they take a really long break, and then they come back. I don't.
Towards the main entrance of the barbershop.
I know we talk about this every week. How is YFN Glanville upset about how long this case is taking when he takes breaks 3 hours a day? 8 hours of work, he's doing 5. You are the leader of that courtroom. Something I thought about, and I'm gonna just go off on a tangent real quick. I've heard Glanville and several other judges call themselves basically like a referee or an umpire. And that bothers me. This is not a game. These men are in jail. Their lives are on hold. Their families' lives are on hold. That's not something that is a game, first of all. So when you say referee or umpire, you're making a game out of this courtroom, basically, right? Now, is there gamesmanship? Certainly, as attorneys, we have gamesmanship. There are rules. We are doing this advocacy in a way almost like we're a paid fighter, which could be like a boxing game or match. Fine. But I believe when a judge calls himself a referee or an umpire, they take away from the actual seriousness of the issue. And the reality is, the judge is not an umpire. The judge is the arbiter of truth. The arbiter of truth. The reason that sounds serious and important is because it is. It's not just a referee throwing flags. It's the arbiter of truth. It's the person who is determining what is true. The person that is not God, that is deciding what is true. That's what, we have given you, the voters of the Fulton County have voted to decide that you, YFN Glanville, are qualified to be the arbiter of truth, not a referee, not an umpire. It's not a game. These are lives. These are real lives. This is truth. So I've been thinking about that all week, and I want to share it. I have to get it off my chest. It's really bothering me. Like, even in a civil courtroom, when I'm in a courtroom, what's at issue is probably some land, maybe like a house, we would call it, right? Real estate. and some money, right? That's what is at issue, not lives. People aren't going to jail. I mean, they might be homeless, certainly as an end result, but I still don't want my judge calling themselves an umpire. You're not an umpire. You're the one in a bench trial. You're making the decision. You're the arbiter of truth. With a jury, they are not the arbiter of fact, but they are the arbiter of law. That's a bigger and more important job in my mind than just umpire or referee. You know, umpire, referee, in the end, those are just games. Those people get to go home. They get to go back to their family. That's what takes the game out of this. Ooh, sorry. Look at that. Get on my soapbox and start to choke. Ooh. All right. Back to the Monday, or no, it's Tuesday, which here in Dallas, it was a huge storm. I'm talking huge. And power was out. Belen, who we love on this channel, she does all our thumbnails. She just got power at 2 a.m., y'all. So it has been a wild few days in weather here in Dallas. So Tuesday to us felt like another day at home. Wednesday was my Monday, I gotta be honest. So here we are, though, on their Tuesday, which was everybody else's Monday.
The other side is where the tile was parked.
Okay. And can you tell the jurors here what it is that we are, the significance of this particular photo?
Number 67, that's marked. We believe it was another bullet defect in the wood awning, I guess, or overhang.
Understood. And we're now turning your attention to State's Exhibit 270. Is this just yet a closer view of the same State's Exhibit the same placard that was?
All right. Good morning, K-Way. Good morning, Tavonda. Good morning, Nomenclature. We the jury. Fran. Hello, everyone. I mean, this is just so boring. And then we take an excruciating long break. All right. Then Max Shard comes up.
All right, Mr. Shard Cross.
Y'all know I love Shard. You know, YFN Glanville hates Shard the most. But I just think Shard is such a good lawyer, y'all. And if you watch a few videos ago, I also think he might be a Virgo, which of course makes me like him more because I'm a Virgo.
Yes, Your Honor. Thank you. May it please the court. Investigator Smith, good afternoon. My name is Max Shard. I represent Shannon Stillwell.
Hi.
Investigator Smith, on January 10, 2015, what time did you arrive at 330 McDaniel Street?
I don't recall the specific time. I know it was during towards the end of my shift, and I worked 3 p.m. to 11 p.m.
I'm not asking you to speculate, but is there a way you could narrow down the time?
I honestly don't remember the specific time.
Let me ask you this. When you arrived at the scene, was EMS and the ambulances, were they still there?
No, they were not.
Okay. Responding officers were there?
There were responding officers there, yes.
Okay. At the
Doesn't
time
he have
you
like
were
a report or something? Like, doesn't he have some kind of report somewhere that says what time he showed up? He didn't use that to refresh his recollection before he got there? That seems weird to me. I don't know.
homicide investigator, correct?
That's correct.
Okay. Were you the first homicide investigator there?
I don't recall. I mean, we usually arrive as a group, whoever's available. There might have been 2 or 3 of us, or usually there's more than one working at a time.
Okay. Now,
It's the most vague
even though you were a
answer.
homicide investigator in this case, you were not assigned this case. You were not the lead investigator, correct?
That is correct.
Okay, and that was Investigator Thorpe, correct?
Correct.
Thorpe.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay. Was he present at the scene when you arrived?
No,
Okay,
he was
then
not.
Shard does a recross. All right, then they call in this
Yes.
guy. He's the owner of the barbershop where the shooting, the drive-by shooting took place. And I think they introduced the video here.
No.
Sorry, I don't talk over you. I think they introduced the video of the shooting during this time. So this guy owns the barbershop, and he testified that he didn't actually speak with the police, which is very interesting. Okay, this is footage from inside the barbershop.
Mr. Parker State's Exhibit 116, Yankee.
Hi, Chocolate Shorty. Hi, Trina, Tina. Hi, Paradox. How are you all?
Now, Ms. Barber, is this the front of your shop?
Sure.
And for customers, when people come and go,
Sure.
is that the door that they would use, your front door?
Sure.
Sure.
And
D
before the
is for
night
you.
that nothing was killed, did your front door have bullet holes in it like it's depicted in this photograph?
No.
Did it after the night he was killed?
Yes.
Did you ever have to ultimately get those fixed?
My dad did.
You fix it himself?
I guess he hired somebody.
Publishing State's Exhibit 1. Well, I'm going to go to Publishing State's Exhibit 130, Yankee.
We've already seen these bullet holes, right? The last guy just went through every bullet hole on the
Ms. Barber, is
scene.
this the inside of your barbershop?
Sure.
That's your chair in
Sure.
the back.
Sure.
Is that there?
Sure.
Yeah.
And was there people, so you see those chairs in the bottom right of this photograph, like, are those customer chairs?
What you mean in the
Like,
bottom?
they're not barber chairs.
Where you mean the black chairs?
Correct.
Yes.
Is that where people who were waiting to get a haircut, would they sit in those chairs?
Sure.
And the night that you called 911, was there people in that area of your barbershop?
Yes.
And was there people sitting in these barber chairs?
Yes.
Okay. And Ms. Barker, I'm going to use this pointer because I'm old school and I may mess up the tech. If you don't mind, I'm just gonna are these, when I was talking about the black chairs in your shop, is this what you were talking about?
Yeah.
And with barber chairs, we were talking about these.
Yes.
And so the night on that.
If I am a juror, I am so annoyed right now. He just said the chairs in the front that are black. I have eyes. I can see what the front is. I can see what a black chair is. I've been on the planet longer than 4 weeks, so I know what a barber chair looks like. So the fact that this guy is going over and pointing this out, now if I'm a juror, this is irritating me. I do not like it. I do not like it when people read the PowerPoint to me. I can read. I don't like it when they say, oh, is this, is this? I know what you're talking about. I'm a grown-up. It's just me. And I'm guessing several of the jurors probably feel a bit similarly.
That night that Nut was killed, there was people in both of those chairs. Is that fair?
I can't remember.
That's all right.
Yeah.
I'm gonna keep this. I mean, now, as far as I'm gonna publish what's already been admitted as 131 game. And is this another view of those chairs? This is the group of chairs where guests or customers.
Oh my God. We all know it's another view, dude. Another thing that bothers me is during this direct, I know we've talked about this before. On direct, you ask open questions. On cross, you ask leading questions. Right now, this direct has been full of leading questions. Oh, is this another angle of da-da-da-da-da? That's a leading question. What is this a picture of would be something better for direct.
That's it? Is that fair?
Sure.
And this is the game of street out here, right?
Sure.
Did any of your windows, do you remember ever having to fix any of your windows after the shooting?
Sure.
Do you remember which of these two you had to fix? Like, would it have been this one or this one?
It'll be that one.
This one?
Yes.
Okay. I'm going to publish State's Exhibit 135 again. So this other photograph, Ms. Barker, is this window we were just talking about, the one you had to get?
Okay, so this guy just testifies about the damage we already saw.
Is he what? Who
Photos
is
we
he
can
with?
see on our own.
Okay. All right. Is that the extent of it? Is he an active undercover detective?
Look, Brown is ready to go home, y'all. Look at Brown. He has got his bag. This is some 3rd grade. This is like 8th period, 7th grade. 8th period ends in 8 minutes. My bag is, I'm ready. I'm out of here. 8 minutes. That's how he looks to me. Look at him. He ready to go. Oh, I did my questions. I asked the witness questions today. I need a nap.
At this point in time? Okay. I'm sure that if Mr. Harvey were here, Mr. Gardner, he would probably object. So I'm going to assume that you have an objection as to that. Is that correct, sir? Okay, all right. And consistent with our earlier discussions, he'll be permitted to. You can audio tape him, but you're not permitted to videotape him no more. So if you just remind who's over here from the media to do that, okay? Okay. Anything else? All right. Anything else from any defense counsel?
Okay, my boy Shard has a question, of course. Now, Doug was wearing like a sweatshirt with spider on it over a button-up. I don't quite love that. I don't like the spider, like the written on the front thing. That's weird to me. Okay, so then we go into the next day. Oh, Tavonda, your boo, is actually walking around quite a bit. And let's get back into it. Here is what Thug is wearing on Wednesday. I actually love like the pink and the stripe with the collar, but I don't like that it's a spider across the front. I find that to be odd. I'm sure he's yawning because, as I understand, they're never turning the lights off in his jail cell. Oh, guys, who's this guy? I had never ever seen him before. He's sitting where YSL Grandma usually sits. Does anyone know who he is? And where is YSL Grandma? Does anyone know that?
Do those sit in the forthcoming court date?
Yes.
And are those a fair and accurate representation of the footage obtained from the barbershop and sex?
Yes.
Commissioner Bergeron? Technically, who did you get the text over with?
The clerks at the store.
Look, Adams and Shard are so like do not care about whatever this witness is saying. They're just sitting over here talking. They're not even paying attention.
I think the text, I think I pulled 16 cameras.
Caden, who's just got out of law school, is he? Is he with Mr. Steel, or who's he with? Whose intern is he?
How did you decide which cameras to pull from?
Detective Thorpe advised me he needed the inside and outside cameers.
Okay, so this witness is a guy who gets camera footage for the government. He's like a cop of some sort that specializes in camera footage. Now, I don't want to like show the actual footage, but we'll stop right here. This is Peanut, Donovan Thomas Jr. These are guys hanging out with him. Names I don't know. Oh, Caden, he's with Steel, okay. And then, we see, I'm gonna skip forward out of this, but right here, this car goes zooming by, and out go gunshots, and everybody scatters and hits the floor. And then, of course, YFN Glanville needs a break because, God forbid we do more than, 30 minutes worth of work without an hour-long break in between. I swear, you guys, it's at least an hour. It's crazy. It's so crazy. I know Spider is his fashion line. I just don't like how it says the word across it. Personally, if I'm going to wear your brand, you're going to pay me to wear it. If you pay Michael Jordan to wear the Nike swoosh, you pay Lauren Cadillac to wear whatever it is you want. Now, he owns the brand, so he's advertising for himself. That's fine. But on me, I'm not into it. I don't like words all across my chest like that. Hi, Mrs. Mondo. Welcome today. I'm so glad to see you here.
Councils, unless y'all have anything of me, or any other inquiry, we'll see y'all tomorrow morning for 9:30 for anticipated 10 o'clock start time, all right? All right.
Oh, guess what? Guess what? We got an inquiry.
State filed a motion under 20.
Okay. I want to get into these arguments with y'all because I know you were here for the hearsay video, and a lot of the words and terminology you learned in that video, you're going to hear come out of both Steel and the state's mouth. Okay?
24-8-807, and I filed a response for trying to get a residual hearsay.
Okay.
He would be one of the last with.
Here's the thing, Caden and everyone. They don't need the internet. They don't need the internet to do the trial. You don't need the internet to conduct a trial. You should have your evidence right there. The projector, maybe you need that, but you shouldn't need the Wi-Fi.
Witnesses, if we even reach him tomorrow. So,
and you're right, K-Way. The judge takes a break as soon as anything dramatic at all happens. All right, so they're talking now about Donovan Thomas Sr. The government wants, and Ms. Hilton's going to tell us about it. While Ms. Hilton tells us about it, I'm going to take a comfort break. Then I'll be right back. But the government is wanting to use Donovan Thomas Sr. to discuss why there was beef or the potential for beef between Donovan Thomas Jr. and YSL. The reason the state says that he is going to say is because YSL and Birdman were recruiting Rich Homie Quan from TIG or TIR or something records, and Donovan Thomas, I guess, had to do with that record company, and he did not want that. And so the state wants Donovan Thomas's dad to speak on that. And I'm going to run the state's argument and Steele's argument. And like I said, I'm going to run Comfort while she's talking. I'll be back. But you're going to hear from Steel a lot of hearsay exceptions that this does not meet. You're also going to hear from Steel that not only is Rich Homie Quan on the prosecution's list, so is Birdman, and Steel has spoken to Birdman, and Birdman is ready and willing to testify. So we're about to get into all that. I'll be right back, but stay here and listen to these guys.
Mr. Thomas Sr. will testify to is that in the summer of 2014, all the way up probably through about September of 2014, there was a cordial, a good relationship between Mr. Williams, Jeffrey Williams, as well as Brian Birdman Williams. That over the course of the summer, there are some pictures that you have seen in which Mr. Donovan Thomas Jr. had went to both Miami and LA with Mr. Mr. Brian Williams, and it was a good relationship. However, in the fall of 2014, that relationship changed. And the reason or the catalyst for that change is that Mr. Donovan Thomas Jr. thought that Brian Birdman Williams was taking artists away from a record label called TIG, which is called Think It's a Game Records. Think It's a Game Records at the time was the record label that Rich Homie Quan belonged to, or the Quantas Lamar. And what Donovan Thomas Jr. began to see or observe, or what he thought, was that Birdman was trying to take Rich Homie Quan from Think It's a Game Records and bring them over to Cash Money Records. And so at that point in time, Mr. Donovan Thomas Jr. would have conversations with Rich Homie Quan about not going over to Cash Money, but staying with TIG Records. In the course of that.
Okay. So, I'm back. See, I can take a very quick comfort break. As you're hearing and listening to her argument, does it remind you of some of the things we discussed in the hearsay video? We talked about dying declarations. We talked about when the declarant is unavailable and who and what is not hearsay. Remember, family histories were not hearsay. So as you're hearing Ms. Hilton talk about what Donovan Thomas's dad is supposed to testify to, All of those things we spoke about in the hearsay video should be boop, 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 popping off in your brain right now.
Mr. Donovan Thomas Jr. would have conversation with his father about the concerns that he had of Rich Homie Quan possibly going over to Cash Money and not staying with TIG. Why that is important, Your Honor, is because at the time, we believe that Jeffery Williams was either signed to Cash Money or had a management deal with Cash Money, but he had more of a relationship with Brian Birdman Williams and the Cash Money side of the house. And so there was some conflict with Rich Homie Quan. And so we believe that in the latter part of 2014, what Mr. Donovan Thomas Sr. would testify to is that his son decided to not have as much of a relationship with both Jeffery Williams or Brian Birdman Williams. And so he began to distance himself from the two of them. There was a specific encounter that he remembers very vividly, which was a video shoot. I believe it was Mr. Jeffery Williams' video shoot. And when Mr. Donovan Thomas Sr. and Mr. Donovan Thomas Jr. went to the video shoot, they saw Mr. Jeffery Williams there, they saw Brian Williams there, and they saw another TIG artist there. However, the owner of TIG was unaware of this video shoot and was not present. At that moment, both of the Thomases left, and at that point, that's when really the tension or the frustration developed, and he did not want to deal with anything that was not TIG records. And so we're talking about October 2014, November 2014, later in the year, that there was this distancing between the two, which is opposite of what we believe that the defense is.
The reason her argument sounds weak is because it is. This is a weak argument. Tavanda, you're thinking double hearsay. I mean, I feel like if any of you have watched my hearsay video, you already know this argument is weak.
Is trying to purport that there was this great friendship in January 2015, because that was not the case. And so specifically, there are two conversations that Mr. Donovan Thomas Sr. remembers his son having with him. These were two face-to-face conversations, again, in about, he believes it was fall of 2014, and specifically his son came to him very concerned, thinking that Rich Homie Quan was going to leave TIG Records, that he expressed to his father that he was trying to show.
Does DT own TIG Records? Like, why is he so concerned? Does he own a share of it? Like, is he earning money off Rich Homie Quan? They haven't connected that dot for me, and I don't understand.
Rich Homie Quan, everything, showing him the studio that they had built for him, and really trying to convince him to stay with TIG and not go over to Cash Money Records. And the reason why that is relevant, Your Honor, is we believe one of the theories of why this murder occurred is there was a desire to have Rich Homie Quan on Cash Money Records, and two people were preventing that from happening. Corey Lamar, who is the father of the Quantas Lamar, as well as Mr. Donovan Thomas Jr. And
so
those two individuals were preventing that from occurring. And so these conversations that he was having is not specifically towards Jeffery Williams, but specifically towards his concern with Brian Birdman trying to steal Rich Homie Quan from TIG and bring him over to Cash Money Records. As far as this having some guarantee of trustworthiness, that's why we believe that you need to hear from Mr. Thomas yourself.
Okay, this weak argument is driving me crazy. I can't even deal with it. It's like making me sick. If you were here earlier, my name is Lauren Cadillac, and I'm an attorney in Dallas, Texas. Oh, I do mainly real estate related work, which means I am a litigation attorney. It means I go into the courtroom. I make binders for the courtroom And for the judge, my binders have all the evidence in color and laminated. As an attorney who's sending a binder full of evidence to a judge, at the front of that, I have a witness and exhibit list. In order to prepare for my case, I have figured out every exhibit I need to present that goes towards the cause in front of the judge. Every piece of evidence that shows a piece of the cause of action before the judge. Because I'm a good lawyer, I then find a way to get that evidence under any of my witnesses. Now, certainly there are times where there's a witness I can't get the full body of evidence under, and I need that witness for that particular time. But as much as I can, I find a witness to present the evidence. And if I have two witnesses that present the same evidence, I choose one. I don't need two people to say the same thing on the stand. If I have to call them both, and if they're both parties, so they heard the testimony of the other witness, I'll say, did you hear their testimony? Was it correct? Would you say anything differently? And then ask them questions particular to them. Because I am not going to waste the court's time. I'm not going to waste my time. I'm not going to waste my client. My client is paying me $350 an hour. My client does not have the money to have me dick around with 8 different witnesses to say the same thing over and over again. Okay? But the state government, their client is the government. The government prints money. They have a limitless budget. They do whatever they want. And because of that, they don't think the way a strategic attorney must think. Okay? And so because of that, I'm going to blame it on the lack of a true budget. That's what I'm going to put it on, okay? I don't want to say that they're all idiots. I don't want to have to accept that. I'm going to say it's the budget. It is exhausting that they don't just choose the witnesses that are alive to testify about the issue in front of them. It is exhausting that this week I saw 8 different witnesses' testimony about the same incident, and no one witness brought anything more interesting or exciting, except maybe the white t-shirt guy, than the other. Why is the state wasting our time this way? All right. I'm going to go into YSL Steel. I'm going to let him make his argument because it's really good. I'm going to try to not interrupt him, and then I'm going to come back to your comments, okay? I'm going to try not to interrupt him because he did really well, but you know there's going to be times that I'm like, we talked about that in our hearsay video, so here we go.
Please make it the next court's exhibit, Christina. Thank you. All right, sir, I'm listening.
Good afternoon, Your Honor. Good afternoon, everyone. Your Honor, I ask you to not permit any statements under OCGA Section 24-8-807.
Okay, sorry. I'm sorry. I said I was going to try not to interrupt. I know, but I did immediately. Ugh, sorry, guys. But let's contrast. Steel is up and immediately citing code. Immediately saying this is what the law says. We didn't hear that out of Nikki Hilton. We didn't hear that out of her. We heard this is what I want, when. Steel comes straight in to the point. This is the law. This is what the law says. All right, I'm going to try not to interrupt him. I'm sorry, guys.
Following 4 reasons First of all, the notice itself is late. I don't have any, I'm going to hear for the first time when you hear for the first time, I guess tomorrow, what the exact statements are. That violates the law, and that is cited. And I put all this in my motion for response from Mr. Williams.
Do you have a copy of that, sir?
I could email it to you if I don't have a hard copy.
So they didn't disclose what the statements are going to be.
To all of us?
Yes, on Friday, this past Friday.
And y'all, we've talked about this. In the United States, we do not do trial by ambush, period, end of story. We require all the parties, civil, criminal, whatever, parties must exchange information. If you're going to present at a trial, I get to know before trial, period, full stop. We do prepared trials, okay? We don't do trial by surprise, all right? That's not how it works in this country. So here we have yet another, we're in day 82, we're in month like 18, no, technically I think we're in month 8. We've seen this, I don't know, I'm gonna say at least 10, 15 times where the prosecution has not turned over the information to the defense. And so now this is the first time the defense is seeing this. Now, at first, YFN Glanville didn't seem to even give a shit about that. It seemed like he didn't even notice or care. But now, 82 days deep, I do believe he's catching on. Okay, I'm sorry, guys. I really promise I'll try not to interrupt him again. Okay, thank you, JC, for giving me permission to interrupt.
I have your response, or what do you invite me to look at?
Well, the first paragraph, in paragraph 2 actually, cites Carter and Brooks, and OCGA section 24-8-807, Georgia courts have adopted the 11th Circuit, and they call it the last resort. That's a quote-unquote attempt by a party to introduce hearsay evidence and should be used, and this is a quote from the cases, very rarely, and only in exceptional circumstances, and only when there exists certain exceptional guarantees of trustworthiness and high degrees of probativeness and necessity.
Okay. Right now, YSL Steel is reading case law where the Supreme Court in Georgia has said only in situations where there's a high degree of trustworthiness, meaning whatever the circumstances are, we're gonna believe what this witness is saying, and a high degree of probative value, meaning this shows to the facts of this case. And then the next thing he's gonna say is, and there's no other witness to present it. All right, here we go.
Necessity. So I don't believe that in this case, the state can meet that requirement. In addition to that, in paragraph 3, Your Honor, under Snyderman, SNEIDERMAN versus state, that's 336 Georgia Appeal 153, that's in footnote 7, 784 Southeast 2D 18, it's all in my motion, my response, 2016, it was overruled on other grounds. But specifically, the state should have given this notice before trial. They did not. And they're supposed to give exactly what you're asking for now. What are the statements? They did not do that. They never said before their Thursday filing of last week that they're seeking to admit this, these statements under 24-8-807. So that has been violated.
Okay, so never before the 3-day weekend did I know they were going to try to get this guy and these statements in.
The next one is the statute itself. It's in paragraph 4. OCGA section 24-8-807 requires, among other portions of the test, that the hearsay statement is more probative on the point for which is offered than any other evidence which the proponent can procure through other reasonable efforts. The proponent in this. Okay.
More probative than any other evidence the proponent has access to. How is Nut's dad coming in and talking about things that him and Nut allegedly said while Nut was alive more probative and more informational to talk about the beef between YSL and the TIG than Rich Homie Quan, than Birdman, than the actual human beings who are actually part of the actual beef. Help me understand. Help me I don't get it. I don't get it. K-Way, it says it's crazy how the state's trying to make sense of how entertainment works. K-Way, I have said it a million times. Jeffrey Williams is being prosecuted for being an entertainer, for marketing, for branding. It is absolutely, absolutely wild. Okay, YSL Grimm and everyone says that Nut was actually Rich Homie Quan's manager, so thank you guys. Good morning, Jones. Welcome. Is it normal for judges, Chris, good morning, to help the state win their arguments? No, it isn't. It's really not normal for a judge to give either side advice. Or if a judge is giving one side advice, they're going to give the other side advice as well, right? Like equally. But no, usually they expect us to know how to do our jobs. Charlene, welcome, says Rich Homie Quan would have more insight than anyone on the subject. He's on their witness list, but now they don't want to call him. Bingo. So that's what Steele's saying. Steele's argument is, like, it is more probative to talk to Rich Homie Quan about the beef over who's managing Rich Homie Quan, right? And that is exactly Steele's point. And you guys are going to see that YFN Glanville actually does something correct on this day. So make sure you write it down because it is a miracle. El Rafael Boxeo, thank you so much. You say you got those lawyer eyes. You keep looking up like them. Thank you. I'm going to take that as a compliment. Tall Glass says Hilton has no facts. That's it. You can hear. I mean, Steele has cited, I've paused him like 8 times already, and I'm sorry, but he's been talking for like less than 2 minutes, and he's already cited statute, 2 cases in their case law, and another statute. I mean, it's crazy. He in a courtroom, you can tell who's going to win when they have the statute and the case law and all of those things behind them and in their argument. Mike, thank you so much for coming, and you're right. Please ask everyone to hit the like button. I appreciate it so much. Red Bunny, I don't know how Jeff has ended up being involved in any of this. It's very bizarre. And I'm pretty sure, like, if there were beef, that the Birdman would be the center and focus of, like, why did you go? I don't know. It's really weird. I don't think they are doing a very good job, the prosecution, obviously. And I'm very biased. And I've had people come in the comments talking about, well, you're biased. And it's like, yes, I am. This is not a pro-government channel, okay? You want pro-government? Find someone else. Eats by Eddie, thanks for joining us today. I really appreciate you. And thank you everyone that's here. Make sure you're hitting like and subscribe. Oh, excuse me. Hit that the like and subscribe button. Join our membership if you can. I really appreciate all of your support. Thank you, Tamika. I love having my orderly evidence as well. I think it's great. And then I don't know if you noticed, but I use green paper as separators because green means go, and I want the judge to go with me. Tavonda, please do send me the Rich Homie Quan interview. Please, please. Hey, another CG. Welcome. Welcome. I'm glad to see you here this morning. Let's see. Tavonda says Lucci isn't testifying. Dwayne Carter said he's not interviewing. Well, apparently we're going to hear Mr. Steele say Birdman said he's ready to go. So Tavonda says Birdman was connected to the bus shooting. He's not getting on the stand. He can, because guess what? The statute of limitations is long since gone. And they didn't indict him on this RICO. So if they want to make their own RICO, his own RICO, they could, maybe. Tall Glass says, I saw the Trump co-defendant hearing the same courthouse say it would take them 36 years to get discovery. Excuse me. That's why people hate lawyers. That's why people hate us. Tracy, hi, welcome. They're wasting time trying to force the defendants to make a plea. No, this whole thing is a waste of time, Tracy, if you ask me. Low end, welcome. Soon as the defense attorney, the judge starts rolling his eyes. You're right about that. This judge is bizarre, his behavior. Tavanda says Birdman was mad at Wayne, was hanging out with some steppers from YSL and couldn't set something up. Doesn't mean Thug knew that. Pee-wee was calling Birdman before and after, not Thug. Interesting. Jose, welcome. The reason why they are doing this, because they have been getting away with it in this court with, oh yeah, that's why. This judge does not manage his courtroom in the least bit at all. Okay, let's see. Thank you, Candace. Thank you, everyone who says my commentary is welcome. I appreciate it. Make sure y'all are hitting like and subscribe and coming every Friday at 10 a.m. Central. I really appreciate it. This is like the highlight of my week. I'm not kidding. So much fun. I love this. All right. Chills, we'll get into the state's response in a minute. And Prentice says, wouldn't that be considered withholding exculpatory evidence on behalf of the state? I think so, but we've seen the state do that several times here. We have seen the state do that several times. So it seems to me the state is not worried about Brady violations at all. Rich Homie Quan says he's not testifying, but if he is subpoenaed, he's coming to testify. Like, you don't get to decide. It's not up to you. The most powerful person in the room is the one with the power of subpoena, y'all. So just FYI, you get subpoenaed and you better go find yourself a lawyer to fight that subpoena if you're not going to show up, because otherwise you're going to go into jail. Perfect Promise, thank you. I'm glad you came and joined us here. I'm not into having the government control my relationships, so I'm not going to be getting married, but thank you for the offer. Block, is it looking good for Thug? I mean, maybe so far. I'll know better after I see and hear and feel the jury in August. I might not be able to physically see them, but I can certainly, I'll be able to feel the energy in the room in August and kind of have a better idea of if I think he's going to win or not. Oh, JC, you better subscribe. Thank you. And make sure y'all are hitting like. And again, I really just want to appreciate all of my members and everyone who supported the channel in any way, shape, or form. It's amazing. All right, now let me get back to this master that is YSL Steel.
This case is the state of Georgia. And Your Honor, the way I understood what you were just told, we're talking about that Rich Homie Quan was trying to be led away from TGI Studios record label to go over to Cash Money Record. TGI Studios is owned by a gentleman, as the Honorable Ms. Hilton said, named Girvin, G-I-R-V-E-N, maybe wrong, Henry, like the King Henry. He's on the state's witness list. He's available. They gave me a phone number for him. Rich Homie Quan is named Mr. Lamar. DeQuantis Lamar is spelled earlier. He's on the state's witness list for this series of witnesses. Mr. Brian Birdman Williams.
Time out. Rich Homie Quan is on the state's witness list for this series of witnesses. How is he not the better witness? How is he not a better witness than someone who can only bring hearsay? Here's what bothers me about the state and how they keep doing this. It is a waste of time. It is a waste of taxpayer money. It is a waste of Jeffrey Williams' money to have Brian Steele making this argument. They already know there are better witnesses. They already have a list full of better witnesses. Why are they wasting taxpayer dollars? And they do this time and time again. We're going to get into this when we get into tomorrow's testimony, which will be here soon. But it really, really irks me. It really irks me. And Terrence, just to address your accusation that I'm a culture vulture, as an attorney, law, legal arguments, attorneys doing work in courtrooms, that is my culture. So that's why I'm here, because I'm watching other people who do the work that I do, and I'm critiquing and or learning from them. as are all the other lawyers in that courtroom. We've already seen Ifgang Brown up his game by using some of the tactics of YSL Steel. And if you for 1 minute think that I don't watch these things and learn from these lawyers and go take those tactics and use good, sound arguments that I've watched from other lawyers on behalf of my clients, you can move along. I'm here to win for my clients. Do you understand? I'll watch other lawyers all day long if it will help me win. And that is my culture, sir.
On the state's witness list. So it is hard to swallow that the state passes the statute itself in 807 that states that the state can get this information, cannot get this information from someone else with reasonable efforts. What they're saying is that Rich Homie Kwan is being courted by 2 different record labels. Well, they have the record label people right here and Rich Homie Kwan, or excuse me, Mr. Lamar, his performer known as Rich Homie Kwan. So I asked you for all of that, for all those reasons so far, to deny their motion. In addition, they wanted to explain about a relationship between, through hearsay, between Donovan Thomas Jr., God forbid, deceased, and Rashawn Bennett. Rashawn Bennett is on the state's witness list. He already pled guilty in another case in this courthouse, and there's no reason that he can't be a witness.
Okay. Rashawn Bennett, who's on the state's list and in state custody, he's in a state jail, meaning they could just go pick him up and bring him to testify anytime they want. Yo, bro, you're coming. He doesn't have a choice. And yet they think that they're trying to assert that the father of a deceased man and the hearsay conversation is a better witness to bring in this information. Why is the state wasting our time this way? Steel should not even have to make this argument. Oh man, nomenclature, thank you so much for the $10 super sticker. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. I really appreciate it. All right. All right, so Steel just goes on. I feel a bit bad because in the past I felt that Hilton was not making these type of arguments. I felt that Hilton was conceding when it was a better decision economically, etc. I'm really sad to see that she's full on into these arguments on stuff that she knows isn't going to come on stuff she knows she has better witnesses for. It is disappointing because I thought that Hilton honestly would do better
in this case. So again, the state has other reasonable alternatives through reasonable efforts. And then, Your Honor, it's paragraph 5 is what they put forth, they being the state of Georgia, in the Thursday late notice. And they say what the supposed statements are, and they really don't give very good statements. So I guess tomorrow is going to be the real notice, so I'm objecting to the late notice.
So, in their notice, they didn't even say what he's going to be talking about. So Steel says tomorrow is going to be the real notice. So tomorrow when the guy's on the stand, the surprise will finally be my notice. I mean, come on. Hey, Gene, welcome. Yes, Steel, the state wants this witness to testify about conversations he had with Donovan Thomas because he's Donovan Thomas's dad. But Steel is arguing there are way better witnesses to present the information that the state wants Donovan Thomas's dad to present.
Then, in paragraph 6 of our response, Your Honor, Mr. Williams' response, this is a new case. It was decided May 15, 2024, but it's not new law, but it just happened to be here, and it's Hall, H-A-L-L versus State, and I cited it.
Steel always
it's too new, so the case.
Steel is always whipping out the new cases, y'all. He's whipping out a case that is like 10 days old. He's like, new case, Your Honor, here you go. He always coming up with remember last week he said to the judge, well, I always read the appeals. He's on it, y'all. Steel is a master.
Case numbers A is in Elisa Alpha Appeal, 24A is in Elisa Alpha Appeal 0568. It was decided May 15, 2024. And what they're talking about, the courts are saying that under 24-8-807, it's supposed to be so rarely used, and there has to be such circumstances which give guarantees of trustworthiness that it's the equivalent, Your Honor. You're gonna have to find this as equivalent to either a cross-examined former testimony or statements under a belief of impending death, or statements against interest, or statements of...
Here's something familiar, you guys? Statements on impending death, statements against interest. Remember, we just talked about these in the hearsay video, okay? Mom, there goes that man again. We are on Wednesday right now. Okay, so Steel is sitting here talking about those hearsay exceptions we spoke about in the hearsay video, and he is now reading out of case law from May 15th of 24. So everything I said in that video is current and accurate.
personal or family history. None of that is here. So
no personal family. Remember personal family history?
For all those reasons, I ask you to, right now, without even hearing from Mr. Thomas tomorrow morning, that the state just utterly failed the test. You know, the law gives us our rules, whether we like them or not. The law gives us our rules, and the state here did not give proper notice. I heard your concerns at the beginning, Your Honor. You said the first one was notice. The second one is guarantees of trustworthiness and inherent bias. I've answered those two, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
The next one is what is said exactly. That's part of the notice. I don't know. The next one is there's no cross-examination of deceased, which triggers confrontation clause. And you're right, and Ms. Hilton's right. I agree with Ms. Hilton that testimonial evidence is evidence that is going to be used for a prosecution, just like you did in the Pitts case. But
in this case, the statements are found in Mr. Sprinkle's report, which is a prosecutor's report made for the purposes of prosecution.
And also, we can't cross-examine the deceased. So I'm stuck with what the father who, you know, and I feel terrible for the man. I mean, everyone feels nothing but sympathy for that family. I mean, we saw the video. I mean, it's outrageous. But how do we get a fair trial by cross-examining the father on statements made by the deceased? So,
that's contrast this to last week when Love was robot grilling the Donovan Thomas's mother, right? And she's trying to get a sympathy card, but she can't even. Steel is so empathetic. None of us would want to be in this man's situation. But how can my client have a fair trial if I can't cross-examine Donovan Thomas? I mean, drop the mic. He is so correct. He is so correct on that. And the way he presents it, contrast that to Miss Love and the way she presents. Ugh. I'm telling you, Steel is amazing. Steel is Fran, you're right. He's calm. He's patient. He is a good lawyer. And y'all, that's why I started watching these trials. Not just this one, other ones. I like watching other lawyers do work. It helps me learn to be a better lawyer. I've learned so many things from watching other lawyers.
Supposedly made when the real witnesses are here anyway. So I can't get over the confrontation clause issue. We should have the right to cross-examine Mr. Gervin, Mr. Bennett, Mr. Lamar, Mr. Birdman, Brian Birdman Williams. And then you asked about cumulative, because the beef was already tested.
Cumulative is going to be our word of the week. All right?
And the state responded that no, not really. And I challenge that because I sit here attentive every day, and I go back and I review notes every single day. Detective Gaither said that this beef, that's what it's been called, goes back to October of 2014. Detective Dennis said this beef goes back to 2014. Over strenuous objection, this honorable court allowed based upon your investigation, witness after witness say, we had a shooting here, we had a drive-by here, this is the victim and this is the person. In this case, people from YSL were the victim. Mr. Shannon Stillwell was a victim. The person next to him got killed. In this case, the victim was IF people, and the defendants are people who are associated with YSL. So, Your Honor, I will answer any of your questions, but I am objecting under the law, and if the state really wanted this to come in, they should have just done what you tell us to do, what everyone tells us to do, just follow the rules.
Follow the rules.
And they've all been broken, and we're getting notice during trial.
Yep. All right, so then the state does a little bit of rebuttal.
Something that the court
Boring. I really don't care what the state's rebuttal is. She doesn't have facts or law to support her argument. And while in the real world, when we're having an argument with our sister, our friend, or our cousin, that's fine. This is a courtroom. This is a courtroom. This needs facts. This needs law. You need to support your arguments. You know what legal writing is? It is the copying and pasting of past legal writings of others. That's it. Like, we don't write our own stuff. The judge doesn't care how we feel. The judge cares what the rules are, what the law says. All right, this is for you, Tavonda. This is YSL Adams. He's back from his birthday. Just for you, Tavonda. Raphael, my new name is YSL Lac. Thank you. But I don't do criminal defense. I don't think I'm good enough to be one of these guys. These guys are amazing. What is he going to talk? Come on. Come on, Keith. All right. So, yes, condolences to Nutt and his family, his children, all of that. Anytime someone passes away, I don't like it. I'm not, it's sad. Death is no blame. In the courtroom, a lawyer needs to handle witnesses that have to do with death and that kind of thing in a certain way, with a certain level of sensitivity. And we have seen time and time again, Miss Love really missed the mark on that. But we see again and again Brian Steele and the other YSL lawyers really nailing it, really doing a good job. Weinstein did a cross-examination. I can't remember. I think it's Thursday. We're getting into it next. Yes, we're going to watch today's proceedings. Are they already going? I figured they hadn't started yet, since they're always late. Weinstein gets up, and that guy, he is the epitome of the quiet and deadly. Okay, like, to me, the dude hardly ever talks, but when he does, my goodness. Oof. Ugh, gosh. Oh, Nomenclature, thank you guys. Thank you everyone hitting the like button. Thank you, Nomenclature, for your support. The $10. Everyone that's gone on my Cash App, I appreciate you all so much. I am Lauren Cadillac, and I am an attorney in Dallas, Texas. I'm a courtroom attorney. I'm a litigator. I do real estate, and I am obsessed with watching other lawyers do their work. And that's how I came to, well, actually, the way I came to this trial is because I was very interested in the First Amendment right issues. Oh, thank you, we the jury. I was very interested in the First Amendment right and using lyrics against someone. I think that's really interesting and awful. Okay, so now we come to Thursday. We've got If Gang Brown back to us. Hi, Julie, welcome. We now have our, hold on, 1, 2, this is now our third witness to talk about what happened at the barbershop at the shooting.
Whoa.
He was at the barbershop. I guess he worked there. Third witness offers no new facts. Nothing new. Now we go into witness 4. Yes, FW, I am in Dallas. I am not from here originally, but I am in Dallas. Okay, now we're going to witness 4. Oh, Jean just gifted 10 memberships. Thank you, Jean. That's amazing. My goodness. I'm so excited to have 10 new members. Thank you so much. And everyone that received that from Jean, geez, how exciting. Thank you, Jean. Seashell, Karen Reed. Yes, I'm going to cover Karen Reed. I think what I'm going to try to do is live stream the closing arguments. And then I'll kind of come in on those. I really can't wait to hear those closing arguments. Jean, thank you just so much. And all of y'all now have a new membership, and it's so exciting. I really appreciate it. Thank you, Jean. All right, so Ifgang Brown ing his way through.
Washington High School.
Now we got
Went to Atlanta 31
our 4th guy on the same incident.
Graduated from that?
Yes.
What, if anything, occurred after you heard the gunshots stop inside the barbershop? Did you all stay around for a long period of time?
Some people ran in the bathroom, some people hit the floor, some no.
More testimony we've already heard.
There was a lot going on.
Some people ran in the bathroom, some hit the floor, some did this. There's a lot. We already heard this. That's why I'm saying that the word of the week this week is cumulative. Because all of this is cumulative. Remember I talked to you about Miss Love and how she likes to beat a dead horse? We're beating the dead horse. You don't think the jury understood that the barbershop got shot at? You don't think the first 2 witnesses and the bullet holes was enough? No, they didn't understand that. 18 grown people didn't understand. Okay, cool.
Crime scene, but when the ambulance did come, the first one came and they got nut. They put him on the gurney, and then the police already was telling them that it was some more people that were shot. So they already had to call for some more paramedics. But I did, like I said, I seen it from the time we're trying to see it through.
Thank you.
From the time they told us to go inside, because by this time everybody was there, the police, the ambulance, and it was a fully involved crime scene.
Oh, if I had a boss, I would want that boss to be YFN Glanville, because we would get to take long ass lunches. We would get to have all the breaks we wanted. Why weren't you at your desk? I was on a comfort break. Why weren't you here? I was out my 8-hour lunch. Boss. I swear, I can't. And it's gotta be bugging the lawyers like myself. I'm trying to get in and get this done and go home. All day long, when you're in the courtroom, you're just sweating. You're so nervous, so much adrenaline, and you're just sweating. Nobody wants to just be sitting in their sweat all day. Like, let's move things. Like, do not want to go to an hour lunch, Your Honor. I want to take a 30-minute lunch, and I want to get this ish over with. So I just, it is crazy. Hi, welcome, Dee Dee. Need to go and watch the dude in the red shirt. Oh, he said it was an older model car, and the state said it's an Infiniti. Well, there's a bunch of issues about the car and what it is. Why do we need 8 different witnesses? If we already know we can't identify the car, why are we putting 8 witnesses up? So it doesn't make any sense to me. Doesn't make any sense.
You the same?
Okay. Now we're going to get to the most interesting witness since No Ma'am, Adrian Bean. This is now, I don't know if this guy's my favorite witness. I don't know. How could you take from No Ma'am, Adrian Bean? And DK was such a good witness too. But man, this guy, I enjoyed this guy, okay? This to me is exciting. Jay says he's going to teach his 10-year-old the word cumulative this week. You should. Then, like, if your kid is talking about something you've already discussed, like, this is cumulative, okay? I've already seen that evidence. I definitely will be objecting to my children. All right, the white shirt guy, though he adds absolutely nothing new, there's nothing outside of what we've already heard, he's actually interesting.
that area today?
Yes, I'm close by.
Growing up in that area, did you get to know a lot of people that live in Cashapp area near Northside Drive?
Yes, sir.
Do you know that area in terms of businesses and shops in that area?
Yes, sir.
Are you familiar, well, let me ask you this before that. Growing up, what did you do for a living?
I sold drugs.
Hi, Reaper Keeper. And yes, thank you, Julie. My son got me these. He sent me these. He knows that I love peacocks, so he got these for me. I really think they're excellent. Be more inspired. You're right. They keep asking the same thing over and over again, and it's ridiculous. It's as if they don't believe that the jury understands the first time. I don't know. It's so bizarre to me. I don't quite understand it. I really personally do not approach my trials this way at all. Now, I've never worked for the government, but I don't, my trial, we're organized, okay? Boom, 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 boom.
Okay. What area or what part of the city did you sell drugs?
On McDaniel Street.
On McDaniel Street?
Yes.
What part of McDaniel Street?
Right there by the Texaco.
Okay. Now, how often would you be out at that Texaco on McDaniel Street back then?
By 8 o'clock to around about 7 or 8 o'clock.
So, is that 8 in the morning till 7 or 8 at night?
Yes, sir.
How many days a week?
Probably about 5 or 6.
Being out there 5, 6 days a week, did you get to know other people who frequent that area?
Yes, sir.
Now, do you have any convictions in the past 10 years?
Yes.
What do you have?
Okay, so when you have a witness that you know has a past, and you know that past is within 10 years, if you've watched the hearsay video, you know the 10-year rule, we talked about it. The first thing you want to do is address that past. Anytime you have like a weakness or something you need to overcome, you just want to put it out there so that you can immediately overcome it. The sooner you get it out and overcome, the sooner you can move on with the presentation of the rest of your case. So with this witness, that's why they're now going into, you know, do you have a past? Have you served time? Because they don't want the defense coming back after he's done his direct and saying, yeah, but you're a criminal, aren't you? So why would we believe a criminal? They want to just get it out there, let the jury know, kind of overcome it in the very beginning.
Criminal damage.
So the property, a theft by taking, does that sound right?
Yes, sir.
Is that from 2023? Does that sound correct?
Yes, sir.
And do you have a 2018 possession of marijuana with intent to distribute?
Yes, sir.
Now, how many years would you say that you sold drugs or spent time at Texaco?
About 10.
10. Orienting back to January 10th, 2015, was that a time that you frequented that area a lot?
Yes.
Did you ever know the owner of that Texaco gas station?
Yes, sir.
Remember his name?
Gary.
Did you?
Brownie, when you say this is the car wash guy, what do you mean? Thank you for being here, by the way, but what do you mean this is a car wash guy? Jose, thank you so much for joining us. I really appreciate it. Brownie says the state could have given him a button-down shirt. This is not the first witness that the state didn't give clothes to. If you recall, they arrested Miss Bennett and they brought her in and there was a whole discussion about her clothes, and that was part of the reason they didn't want to show her, I think, was because she wasn't actually dressed appropriately for court. I never understand when people show up in a t-shirt like this for court. Like, you know you're going to court, right? Like, I know you're not on trial, but do you not at least have some respect for what court is? I don't know, it's wild. Someone asked me if I knew about the Mo 3 trial, and I don't. I've never heard of it, but feel free to send me information on it. I would love to have another trial to watch. Oh, and while we're paused here, I don't know if any of you were watching like the Chad Daybell out of Idaho. He was the guy who said he was like a prophet or something, and him and this woman, Lori, they killed everyone they loved so that they could be together, and they were caught in Hawaii. Anyhow, they practice very differently in Idaho. Watching those courtrooms was very different, but they found him guilty of sin yesterday. So, all right. Back to our drug sailing t-shirt wearing car wash guy. Oh, he washes cars as a side hustle. Yeah. And he says he parks cars too. That's right.
Barbershops in the United States.
Yes, sir.
And I'm going to publish case exhibit. It's already admitted as 90 Yankee. So, Mr. Hendricks, there's going to be a photograph that comes up on your immediate left. And you tell me if you recognize that location.
That man down your street.
Is that the tax code you were just discussing?
Yes, sir.
Now, what barbershops are nearby that tax code?
Mr. George and Nora Barbershop.
And which barbershop did you go to if either of those?
Mr. George.
How long did you go to Mr. George's barbershop?
Since I was a little boy.
Now, who would cut your hair at Mr. George's barbershop?
Mr. George.
Why did you go to Mr. George?
He always all cutting my hair since I was a little boy.
Did you get familiar, get to know people that also went to Mr. George's barbershop?
Yes, sir.
Would you ever spend any time other than Texaco in between the Texaco and the barbershops in the parking lot or sidewalk?
Yes, sir.
Did you get familiar with people who would hang out in those locations?
It wasn't nothing but the regular people from the neighborhood.
If someone who wasn't a regular person from the neighborhood was over that way, would they stick out or not stick out?
They won't stick out like that. Cause really everybody from the neighborhood gonna be right up.
So if you had someone who's from outside the neighborhood.
Jay Capo asks, does it look like these witnesses aren't that relevant when the defense doesn't cross them? That's a really good question. It does to me. When the defense doesn't cross them, I'm like, that says a lot to me. But I don't know how that would look for a juror. I wonder if the juror would also feel the same. I'm imagining, especially with these witnesses, since it's cumulative and they've already heard it, they probably are feeling the same way. My understanding is that this guy, he was a drug dealer, but now he washes cars and he parks cars for a living.
Did you recognize that?
Yeah, you'll recognize them quick. Everybody get to looking like who that is. Wow.
Are you familiar with Cleveland Avenue in Atlanta?
Yes, sir.
Are you familiar with any street gangs from that part of the city?
Yes, sir.
Which ones?
Rock Crew.
Any others?
YSL.
Did you know any Rock Crew or YSL members in your time in the streets?
Yes.
Who?
Little boy, what?
What?
Yeah.
How did you end up knowing him?
He from university. A lot of when they sold out on university, we went there and walked.
Did you know anyone else other than Buffalo?
Wilbur, that's his brother.
Okay. Now, when people from Cleveland Avenue or anyone in Rockville or YSL ever hang out at Texaco,
No, sir.
would they ever hang out at the barbershop, Mr. George's, or Hair Unlimited, 330 Main Street?
No, sir.
On January 10, 2015, would people from YSL or Rock Crew ever hang out at either of those three locations?
No, sir.
Did you ever know someone whose name is Donovan Thomas, also known as Peanut or not, sir?
Yes, sir.
How did you know him?
Childhood friend.
What did you call him?
Nut, Peanut,
Did he have any nickname for you?
Guido.
Did anyone else call you Guido besides Nut?
No, sir.
If you had the ballpark, how old were you when you met Mr. Thomas?
About 15. He was about 13.
Did he grow up near where you did?
Yeah, he stayed at the bottom. I stayed at the top.
And what do you mean by that? He stayed at the bottom?
Bottom of the apartment in University Hall.
Right. Did you all go to school together?
No, sir.
Did you know his mother, Miss Evans?
Yes, sir.
How did you know her?
We used to go down here house and play the game. We used to play in front of their yard and stuff.
Did you ever spend any time staying at Miss Edmonds' residence?
Yes, sir.
When was that?
When I had got shot the first time, I had stayed over there.
What year was that?
Like 2012 or 13.
Oh, okay. All right. He just said the first time I got shot, I stayed over there. And then was asked, when was that? And he struggled to remember. First, he's been shot more than once. The first time I got shot. Second, he's been shot enough that he does not remember when the first time he got shot was. That's a lot of being shot. Now, I know he was shot that night at the barbershop. He's about to get into that. But wow. That's a lot of being shot, y'all. That's a lot of being shot.
No, it was about 2010 when I first got shot.
And real briefly, what kind of situation was that? What happened?
I had somebody try to rob with a...
There's an objection.
Your Honor, it's relevant to explain. You just mentioned being shot, so that's
Okay.
right.
I'll rule the objection.
Mr. Hendricks, you may answer that.
Sir,
Mr. Hendricks, you may answer that question.
I didn't hear what he said.
He said basically you overruled the defense counsel's objection. So when you were talking about being shot the first time, what was the circumstances of that? What happened?
Oh, somebody tried to rob me.
And after that, did you spend time in Miss Evans' house?
Yeah, when I had got shot, I had left the house while I went on straight over their house.
And they let you stay there?
Yes, sir.
Did you know Mr. Donald Thomas Sr., that's father?
Yes, sir.
Now, where would is here come?
Mr. George?
Now, back in, how often did you see Mr. Thomas? Back in January of 2015.
Every day. Every other day, he'll pull up.
And is that similar in terms of 2014 or 2013?
He was pulling up.
Now, back then, do you know what kind of car you drove?
He had a GTO, red GTO, then painted, he wrecked it, then painted it black.
Did he ever have a blue truck?
Yes.
Now, how often would Peanut go to that area of Daniel Street where the barbershops are?
That's it every day. That's home to him.
Now, would he take the same route to get there?
Yes, sir.
What was that route?
Coming off Metropolitan, coming from like the west end, you go up under the bridge.
Now, when Mr. Thomas would get to the Daniel Street area, how would people react to that? Would people know he's there or not?
They'll put it like that. When he ain't around, it be dead. Like everybody know when he pull up, everybody get to pop him up from everywhere. Everybody just pop up.
Did people recognize his car in the area?
We did. Like the homies did. Like
One second. Speculation? Mr. Sharp? Okay, I got it. Okay. I'm going to sustain the objection.
Mr. Hendricks, you just said...
Okay, did you hear that objection was speculation? It got sustained. Oh, by the way, Glanville on the DT dad thing said, no, you can't ask DT's dad those questions. Glanville actually made an appropriate ruling. And here he sustained an objection appropriately. I think this guy is so, I don't want to say cute, because I know men hate it when they say they're cute. But I don't know, there's something about his personality, I really like him. He comes across as like just very honest and forthright. He seems to have nothing to hide, you know, he seems to be relatively helpful. And I just think he's an interesting witness. He's an interesting witness to me.
That when Donald Thomas arrived on the scene, everybody would come out. You remember that?
yes, sir.
How is it that everyone would come out when he arrived on the scene? How did they know he was there?
Like when he pull up,
Hold on, wait. Overruled. Now you can answer the question.
Thank you, Your Honor. You may answer this, Your Honor.
well, like it'll be won't nobody be outside. Soon he pull up, like everybody know he there.
And with you being in that, you would be in that area about 5 or 6 days a week. Is that what you testified to?
I sustain the question as the form.
Mr. Hendricks, were you out in that area often when Mr. Thomas did?
Yes.
How would people, would there be other, would you be the only person outside, or would other people?
Other people be out there too.
How did they react when Donovan Thomas arrived to the location?
We gonna smoke. You know, they're gonna be outside smoking. We gonna get some lunch, go to the barbershop.
Okay, I got. In other countries, they name and identify their dialects. Like in the Philippines, there are tons of dialects of Tagalog. Tons of dialects. There's so many dialects of it in the Philippines that often when traveling, Philippine people will have to use English because they can't understand each other's dialects. We also have like a gazillion dialects in the United States of English. And this dialect is like Hotlanta. That's what I'm calling it, Hotlanta. Okay. The 911 lady even said screets instead of streets. And so it's so interesting to me. I was thinking about this earlier, like how in other countries, especially like Asian countries, they seem to identify and accept dialects and like, yeah, there's dialects. But for some reason here in the United States, I feel like we are like in denial that there are different dialects. But if y'all have ever spoken to anyone from New Orleans, which I know we have a viewer today, so welcome, y'all know they have a different dialect. Like we all have different dialects. I don't, it's so interesting to me that the dialects, it's like we're in denial. But I love how he says smoke. And you know, the fact that he's sitting here talking about, he's about to say he just bought some blunts and he's talking about he's smoking, he clearly has nothing to lose. And so if you're on the jury, like, I don't, in my mind, to me as the juror, that makes him way more believable, right? Like, okay, he can't be lying. He's sitting here honestly telling us about how he's smoking blunts on the street. So that couldn't be a lie. And I saw here in the chat that the courthouse is closed today because there's no water in Atlanta. And it's just wild. It's wild. I mean, it's like God has told us again and again to please free Jeffery at this point. It's crazy. All right, let's get back to the streets.
I mean, I have a store.
Would people other than yourself recognize his car when you drove up to the location you went to frequently?
Objection, call for speculation.
I stand.
Like when
Hold on. You can't answer the question when I sustain it, okay? All right.
Was Mr. Thomas well known in that neighborhood?
Yes, sir.
Was he well known in the city of Atlanta?
Yes, sir.
Did you ever know someone by the name?
I know McJagermeister, that's not how you say it. I know, I can't pronounce it to save my life. I have a dialect when I speak Spanish. I speak like a middle-aged Southerner. Hola, ¿cómo estás? It's so weird. I don't know why I don't usually speak very Southernly, but when I speak Spanish, it just pops in.
Stage name is YFN.
Yes, sir.
How did you know that?
When Lucifer came on the scene, he pulled up on me and told me to listen to him.
And when he said, told you to listen to him, does that mean his music that you made?
Yes, sir. And I told him that hit $1 million.
And who did you tell that's his $1 million?
I told that to Nut.
After you heard YFN Lucci's music?
Yes, sir.
Did Nut and Lucci have a relationship with one another?
Yes.
Were they friends?
Yes.
Were they close?
Yeah.
What part of the city is YFN Lucci from?
Summerhill.
Do people in Summerhill and people in Castleberry know each other?
I sustain the objection.
Mm-hmm. Good, sustaining, that was speculation.
That's about a 10-minute walk.
Now, did you ever know someone by the name, stage name, Rich Farm?
Yes, sir.
How did you first know about him?
He used to pull up at Tesco with Mozzie.
Is that the Texaco on McDaniel Street?
Yeah, Tesco on McDaniel Street.
Now, you said Mozzie. Who's Mozzie?
Mozzie from East Atlanta.
When you first saw him, was Rich Juan, how old would you say he was?
He was about 16, 17.
Okay.
And did Donovan Thomas ever know or have a relationship with Rachel Quan?
Yes, sir.
What was that relationship?
On some music.
Did he have a music relationship with YFN Glanville too?
Yes, sir.
Now, Mr. Hendricks, is Donovan Thomas alive today?
No, sir.
Where were you the day that he passed away?
I was right there on McDaniel Street.
You tell the jury how that day started for you.
I was just leaving my rooming house, and I was going to get me a haircut. I supposed to been going to the movie that night, so it was about 50 people out there. Everybody rushing in the barbershop.
Why were people rushing in the barbershop?
To get a haircut.
That was speculation, by the way. That called for speculation. He doesn't know why they're rushing. I mean, we can all assume it's for a haircut, but we don't know that.
Did you, when you got to the barbershop, you remember around what time you got there?
Around about 6 or 7.
And when there's a lot of people at the barbershop, how does it work when you're waiting for a haircut? You have to take a ticket, you have to take your name, how does it work?
You got to just wait on your turn.
Now, did you wait inside or outside the barbershop?
Outside.
I'm going to publish what's already been admitted as 6 Yankee, Your Honor. Mr. Hendricks, in a couple seconds, photographs going to appear on that same screen.
Yes, Tavondo rooming house.
Yeah, Mr. George.
Okay, he is definitely living in like a boarding home or something like that. He said a rooming house, yes. And I don't know who Mazzy is either. And yes, Tennessee people do say Merzik. One time I was in Nashville and I stopped at a gas station and there were these two people talking and I looked at my friend and I said, is that English? Like, what is that language they're using? And she said that it was in fact English, but I couldn't understand anything they were saying. It was like, rah, 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 rah. No, I didn't understand a word they were saying. So definitely in Tennessee, they have their own dialect, no doubt. No, there is no court today. It turns out that the water at the courthouse is not working or something, which is hilarious. It's just par for the course with this case, you guys. It's like, of course, there's no water at the. Why would there be functioning, working, running water in the middle of a trial? And I didn't know about that mumble rap until I saw this case, and now I know. I'm like, oh, that's why mumble rap came out of Atlanta. Okay, because that's how they talk.
And so you said that you were waiting outside when you were waiting for your
Yeah, on the side.
Did you see Nut out there?
Somebody that day?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Where was it?
He was in the parking lot right now.
I'm going to publish what's already been admitted as 12 Yankee. Strangers, another photograph you your side. Do you see the area where you saw Nut at after you came out of the barbershop?
Where are you?
And Mr. Hendricks, I'm going to show you something.
I just. It reminds me of like a little kid or something. He's like, right there. Like, he just seems so honest.
Real quick. Touch screen. And so if you touch it, there'll be a red line. Can you circle where when you first saw Mr. Donovan Thomas, you knew his nut at the barbershop that day? Or outside the barbershop? Did you see his truck?
Where are you?
And did you walk up and greet him when you saw him?
Yes, sir.
What were you doing with him while you were waiting for your haircut?
We was smoking. We had got some I had walked to the store and got some blunts.
What was the move? Did you go to Texaco to get that?
Smoke?
Yes, sir.
Did you, when you got back, what was the mood like outside?
It was some bad. You could tell it was something in the air how everybody was moving. It was some bad movement going on. You weren't feeling it.
What do you mean about that?
How everybody was like they know what something was going on. Folk pulling off, they moving all funny, the bad movement.
How was, back at that time, like in the weeks and months before the day that Nut was killed, would you see him often?
Yes.
Was he moving any different in that time frame?
Yes, like he felt something, like he wasn't acting like himself. Like he knows something, it was something in the air.
Objection, speculation. See, that is speculation. Now, could the defense have called objection speculation? Yes, probably. But what the defense is doing is they're watching the jury and they're making sure that they don't piss the jury off. So even though what he was saying was speculative and could be objected to, no one objected to it, presumably because they thought there's no point. It's not going to win the appeal, and it's going to irritate the jury. So you got to be measuring all of these things while you're running your case.
Now, I'm going to publish, Mr. Hendricks, what's been marked as and already admitted as 292 Yankee Golf. Another photograph is going to come up on that screen. Now, I'm going to help clear this. I'm going to ask you if you see
another thing that I noticed when this guy, this is the white guy, is doing this cross, he's just approaching the witness. You notice how he hasn't asked, may I approach? He just walks up and goes and touches the screen. I noticed that. Like, that screamed to me really loudly. I'm like, whoa, whoa, whoa. He's just walking up and touching the screen. He's not asking the court's permission to approach the witness or approach the screen. I don't know. I'm asking for permission from the court.
I got shot. I seen the blood shoot up out his mouth and ear.
Now, I want to go back to 14 Yankee, Mr. Hendricks. There's going to be another photograph going to come up. Do you see what direction or where did Nutt go after he was struck?
He was right at the barbershop. He was going at Nard barbershop. He was back and he showing where he going back. He going trying to get in the barbershop.
To try to get to safety?
Right, try to get to safety.
That's speculative. He doesn't know why the guy would be trying to go to the barbershop. Welcome, Christopher. I'm glad you're impressed. And welcome, ATR. Mike, welcome back, Mike White. King Cooley, thank you for your comments. They've been very astute. And I noticed the same thing on that video. All of Nutt's friends all have hoodies on.
Use this marker and just draw a big circle to the area that Nutt ran to after the shooting.
Right.
Did he ever make it inside the barbershop?
He shown he trying to open up, but somebody locked the door.
Now, did you ever get any medical personnel that would come out to treat you that night?
I went to Grady. Basically everybody met up at Grady. I seen when they rushed Nutt to the hospital. I was awoke. I seen when they brought him through.
You were already at Grady?
Yeah. I seen when they were pushing him through.
And did you get there via an ambulance?
Yes, sir.
How long were you, or did you have to stay there sometime?
I had stayed there probably like a week.
Now, Mr. Hendricks, I'm also going to publish what's already been admitted as 223 Yankee. Another photograph is going to pop up on that same screen. Do you recognize what that is, Mr. Hendricks?
Phone? Look like my phone.
It looks like your phone?
Yeah.
Oh, we come back to these
Did
old
you,
phones.
Lose your phone?
Yes.
I'm going to also show you what's already been admitted as 216 Yankee. Another photograph is going to come up. You recognize that phone?
I don't know whose phone that is.
Now, after you got out of the hospital, did you still hang out or frequent the Daniel area?
No, I think I had went on my baby mama house.
Welcome, Brownie. Thank you for subscribing. I appreciate it. Thank you, everyone who's hit like and subscribe, by the way. All of you are amazing. Thank you, everyone who's in this chat.
So,
This is
Mr. Hendricks,
the highlight of my week, you guys, is hanging out with you and hanging out in your chat and in the chat with you and so on. Tavonda, I'm going to real quick get back on my soapbox about the baby mama subject. And I'm going to tell all of y'all what I tell my children. A marriage can be ended. A child cannot. So if you're not willing to marry a person, then you should not be having a baby with them. The baby will last forever. All right, back off the soapbox, back into the case.
after the shooting happened, did anyone else fire off any shots?
That other one shot. He shot about 3 or 4 times. Probably about 5 at the most. Tried to bag him up. But when he shot, that made them pull off though. That made them move.
It made the car keep moving?
Yeah, when he started shooting back, they thought he probably wasn't gonna shoot back.
So, you're talking about after the shots in the...
Right. So when they got to shooting, Nut shooting too, but when he started shooting back, that what made him shoot off.
After they...
Did you hear that? Nut started shooting back.
They shot the automatic fire at them. Mr. Hendricks,
Hold on. I'm gonna hold the objection. Go ahead.
you can answer.
Objection.
I sustain that one now.
Mr. Hendricks, did you testify about what a chopper was?
Yes.
Did you say it was a machine gun?
Yes.
I apologize. I said automatic weapon is a... after you heard the machine gun fire, you said about 100 rounds. Was it after that you're saying Donovan Thomas fired back?
Like when they shot, he started shooting too. That what made him speed off fast. So when they shoot, he had to shoot too because he don't have a gun on.
After they shot at him.
Right. They shot first.
Hold on. Hold on. Miss Westmoreland, what was the base for your objection?
You guys remember a few weeks ago we were talking about Miss Westmoreland and she never objects. Today she piped in. She did. She piped in.
Mr. Sharp, asked and answered. Mr. Sharp, what's the base? Okay, both objections are overruled.
Thank you, Mr. Hendricks. State passes the witness.
All right, cross. Let's see, Mr. Weinstein.
Okay.
Mr. Matthews. All right, Mr. Williams. Miss Westmoreland. Mr. Sharp.
Okay. There was evidence this week before this witness that there were some guns on the passenger front seat of Nut's car. Oh, and sorry, it was Tuesday's witness. And they asked him, like, who put the guns there? And he said he didn't know. He didn't know where they came from. Now, this man has now testified that Nut was shooting back and Nut always had a gun. So now let's get into Shard's cross-examination, which I think is great when you combine the two pieces of information.
Good afternoon, Mr. Hendricks. My name is Max Shard. Nice to meet you. Just want to make sure I understand. You saw the pictures of the parking lot that the state presented, correct?
Yes.
Okay, where Donovan Thomas's truck was, correct?
I love Shard's suit here on this day, y'all. He's looking good. He's looking good. He's doing good. He's just a good lawyer. Okay, he is a good lawyer.
Yes.
Okay. And you were out there for a period of time before any shooting occurred?
Yes.
Okay. And how long, to your recollection, were you out there with Donovan Thomas and other people?
We was out there about an hour or two together.
In that parking lot?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And during that hour or two, did anyone go into the barber shops and Did you go get your hair cut during that hour or two?
It was about 20, 30 of us out there waiting on the haircut that night.
Okay. To your recollection, that during that hour and two, did you go into either of the barbershops to get a haircut?
I ain't make it in there. I told you about 20, 30 folks out there waiting on the haircut. You got folks on the outside, then you got the barbershop packed in the inside too.
I understand.
Okay.
To your recollection, in that hour or two, did Donovan Thomas go into either barbershop to get his haircut?
I think, to be honest, I think he made it in there, and he just came back out and chilled.
Okay. When he came back out and chilled, how long after he came back out, to your words, chill, how much time passed before any shooting occurred?
For about 30 minutes.
Okay. So,
it probably wasn't even 30 minutes. Like, it was a call. Somebody was working the phone.
So, well, let me ask you this. When the shooting occurred, Mr. Thomas was not walking out either of the barbershops when the shooting occurred.
He was on the lot. He was on the lot. That's why I said it was a call. Somebody made a call.
Okay, well.
Okay. All right. He's on the lot. It was a call. Somebody made a call. And he earlier said that the barbershop door was locked. Shan, welcome. That's such a good point. If you're a business, why is your door locked? I guarantee the office door downstairs is unlocked. It doesn't even make sense to lock that door. And with all of the young men with the hoodies on, and now he's saying someone made a call? Okay.
Let me ask you this. You said, if I correct me if I misheard you. Once the shooting started, Mr. Thomas started shooting.
They shot first.
Okay.
Okay.
Now, when you say they shot first, you're talking about from a car?
Right.
Okay. That car, your recollection, your testimony, did that car stop in the road?
Like when they first came from the railroad track, when they got right there by Mr. George, right there in the first little cut, it's an empty building right there. That Mr. George shot right there. We standing right there. They shot bow, bow, bow like a handgun. As soon as they got right there in front of that, they let all the wrong shots go.
Oh, okay. But did the car stop?
Yeah, it stopped. It stopped about a second or two.
Okay.
I ain't gonna say a second, probably about 20 seconds, then they let all the shots at me.
The car stopped, your testimony was the car stopped for 20 seconds and that would have been in front of the barbershop?
Not exactly, like in the parking lot. There wasn't that.
In between the two barbershops?
Right.
The car stopped for 20 seconds. Okay. And
also, guys, I didn't notice until this moment. Well, I was watching this moment in the gym earlier today, prepare for you today. Shard is a lefty. Shard is over here using his left hand to claw notes. Nobody told me before. I have had lefty friends. I love my lefty friends, but boy, do I love making fun of them too. They write so funny. I can't believe it. He's a freaking lefty. I'm like, mind blown.
And Mr. Thomas, I understand that you're saying shots were already fired, but Mr. Thomas started firing shots as well.
After they shot first.
I understand. Do you know what kind of gun Mr. Thomas was shooting?
He probably had a 9.
Do you know that for a fact, or are you speculating? You said he probably had a 9. So
I seen it. It was a handgun.
Okay.
Okay. He saw a handgun, but we don't know that it's a 9. But he saw it.
To your recollection, were any of the other individuals that were out in that parking lot with you and Mr. Thomas, did any of those other individuals shoot?
No, sir.
Okay. I don't have any further questions. Thank you.
Mr. Adams.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Oh, gosh. It Gang Brown is a lefty, too. That's funny. It is interesting that they're not asking him about this call. He keeps talking about a call. Yes, lefties are creative, allegedly.
As long as it's just one. It's not more.
Okay, here's one more question.
Mr. Hendricks, I'm going to ask one more question. Do you know what happened to the gun that Mr. Thomas had?
No, sir.
Shooting?
No, sir.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. I have no question.
All right. Anyone I missed? Oh, Mr. Matthews, sorry. Go right ahead, sir.
Okay, here comes my boo. I know, Tavando, your boo was pretty light on the work this week coming back from his birthday. I'm sure he needs some rest. And yes, I'm sure lefties are quite creative. I just enjoy making fun of them. You remember Barack Obama's a lefty, and he was always signing like that, and I loved making fun of him too. Because it's not really a thing. Like, you right, left, whatever. It doesn't even matter. It's just fun to make fun of. You know, they have to have their own scissors and their own tables. A2R, the thing is if the testimony revealed a lot, and you need to understand the cultural and language to get it, somebody needs to explain that to the jury. I'm watching this just like a juror. Like, I don't know anything about Young Thug or any of this music. So I'm sitting here, and of course I'm a lawyer, so I'm a lawyer juror, but I'm sitting here much like the jurors. And if there's some kind of information that the jurors needed to receive but weren't receiving, it's on the lawyers to make sure that the jurors receive it. So it's very interesting. All right, here we go.
Good afternoon, sir. Just one or two questions. Did you see a gun out there that I like to refer to as a big pistol, kind of large, black, with look like it may have a handle?
Oh, sir.
Did you see that gun?
Objection, Your Honor.
Oh, sir.
What's the basis?
There's no facts and evidence of that.
I just asked him, did he see it?
Only big gun I seen.
Wait, just wait a second. I'll sustain the question as to form. You might be able to rephrase, sir.
You were out there for some time in this.
He asked me, did I see a big pistol? Only big gun I seen when they came out that bundle, that's the only big gun I seen.
Okay. That's all I have. Thank you.
All right. Mr. Weinstein.
Okay, now here. Weinstein has really been impressing me, y'all, in the last few weeks. But he is the perfect example of, you know, the quiet is the quiet ones are the ones you have to watch out for. Let's see why. Here we go.
Good afternoon.
How you doing?
I'm doing well. My name is Doug Weinstein. I'm Mr. Kendrick's attorney. So you testified that the car stopped for about 20 seconds, correct?
Yes, sir.
What's your degree of certainty that it would stop for around 20 seconds?
It paused. The car just stopped where it was going. They already know what they target was.
I understand. How certain are you of that?
I was standing right there.
Okay. Is that the same degree of certainty you have with the respect to you're saying that Mr. Thomas shot back?
They shot first.
I understand they shot first. Are you just as certain that Mr. Thomas shot back as you are that it paused for around 20 seconds?
Just put it like this, when they shot him first, he got a chance to shoot his gun too. So when he's showing as he's spraying blood.
Because you're standing right there, correct?
Yeah, I'm right there. He's showing as he's spraying blood. He getting his shots off too.
Okay. Is that your same degree of certainty that it was a Pontiac?
It was a Bonneville.
Okay, thank you.
Right.
Do you see what he just did there? So is that the same degree of certainty that it was a Pontiac? Because the GTO is a Pontiac. So it was a GTO a minute ago. Weinstein won. Weinstein won yesterday. Done. He won yesterday. Period.
Thank you. No more questions.
All right.
Bonneville.
Yeah. State you have any redirect?
No, Your Honor.
All right.
Yeah, here's the thing. We all saw the video. We all saw this video. There's no stop. It looks like they slow down a little, but there is no stop at all.
May Mr. Henry be permanently or temporarily excused as a witness?
Mr. Hendricks may be permanently excused, Your Honor.
All right, Mr. Hendricks, sir, thank you for your patience with us. I'm going to permanently excuse you as a witness. You don't have to come back. And just don't discuss your testimony.
I thought Bonneville was a Oldsmobile, but I don't know. Okay, then next we have Bonneville is a Pontiac, okay. But he said a GTO, and a GTO is very distinctive to a Bonneville. A Bonneville is like what grandmas drive, and a GTO is what like young people drive. So two very, very different things. Very different things. Okay, I am seeing that the trial is canceled for today. I guess there's no water. Y'all, it's like we don't really like spending money on taxes in our country. Like, it's not really our thing. If you would like any reference, there's this thing called the Boston Tea Party. Yeah. So we're not like big fans of paying taxes. And the thing is you get what you pay for. And that's true everywhere. So you're not going to pay for taxes. You're not going to pay for the buildings to be maintained and repaired. You're not going to have water. That's it. You get what you pay for. All right. So yesterday, Thug wore this beautiful cable knit sweater. I really love it. I love the white on white. We've got Tavana's Boo over here in, I don't know if that's an orange or a red tie, but I like the tan. And we have YSL Steel with his favorite toy, his highlighter, for him to put on his mouth and his eye. Doing good. Then we had some kind of old man who did so many fellowships and doctorates, it was wild. And still, let's see if we can get this one.
Looking at 6 Exhibit 307 Yankee, what is being depicted in 307 Yankee?
Okay, this is his back. Okay, he's kind of rolled up on the table. And there's this little tag right here. This tag is got 2 inches, so it's 2 inches long, it's a ruler, and it's also got the accession number on it. Right above that tag is one of the entrance wounds, okay? And you can see it's on kind of the left lumbar back, back here, this part of the back. There are some artifacts in here that are distracting and don't mean anything. There's these, you can see these round holes here, little round things. This is the table. It's a stainless steel table. It has holes for fluids to drain off the table and down the sink. And so those, when you lay if you lay a body on those holes, sometimes they make little red spots there. So they're not injuries. They're artifacts of the autopsy.
And earlier when you talked about perforating and penetrating gunshot wounds, this entrance wound that we're looking at here, was this a perforating or a penetrating gunshot wound?
Okay, this is I just noticed this. This is a penetrating gunshot wound.
Do you hear that? He said, I just noticed this. This is an expert. He's a coroner. Dude has done multiple fellowships. In the beginning, he talked about all these fellowships he did just to become a coroner in Atlanta. What a waste of education. Dude just said, I just noticed that. It's wild. So did you analyze it then, or are you analyzing it right now?
So Jerry, where did this, what was the pathway?
Okay, so this gunshot wound, it goes into his back, into the muscles, goes into his spinal column, the bones. These bones are numbered from 1 to 5. And it goes through the first and second one. It goes through his right kidney. So his right kidney's on the other side. Okay. And then it goes through, and the projectile is fragments into 2 big pieces, and it goes into his right 9th rib. So there's 12 ribs. So it's going over here. And then the other one is just kind of moving about freely within his abdominal cavity and is down by the bladder. So it just got into his abdominal cavity, didn't get stuck in any tissues. So those are the two fragments.
And you talked about injury to his kidney. I'm going to show you what's been admitted as Safety Exhibit 310, Yankee.
Go back one more. Okay, so I don't want to confuse you, so I start really simple here. This is just pictures of kidneys, kind of like sitting in a body, like this. Okay.
I'm so glad that I can't see whatever they're looking at. He said, this is a picture of kidneys sitting in a body. I'm just so glad I can't see that at all. It's awful. I have heard that there have been complaints from jurors who have had to sit through like really graphic or really horrific descriptions of really graphic and horrific crimes, and had to like seek therapy afterwards. Like it messed with their minds, and I could see that happening. I mean, it's absolutely wild, especially in cases where children are harmed or something. Ugh, God. So anyhow, I'm really glad we can't see these pictures of kidneys.
So they're kind of bean shaped, and they're about this big, and they have blood vessels attached to them, and these tubes take the urine down to the bladder. So those are kidneys. Okay.
You want to put the next one, 309, Yankee?
Okay, now this picture, I looked around on the Google image to find this picture. It's the best one for this particular gunshot wound. It's a picture of his back, and now it's in the front. We're looking at it from the front in this picture. Okay, so, and it's kind of from the right side. So it's kind of like looking at it like this. Okay.
All right, so I really don't understand the purpose of having the medical examiner, because they're not actually trying to prove the murderer, or like who murdered Nutt. The whole killing of Donovan Thomas is like one of the actions that show that it's RICO. So I don't really understand why there's a medical examiner. We know he's dead, right? Like, what is the purpose of this witness? Like, we know he died. So again, this is like this prosecution just constantly being cumulative, beating, a dead horse, just repeating the same thing over and over again. For what purpose? Like, why did the jury just need to see pictures of kidneys? If I was a juror and I have to see pictures of kidneys, I'm going to be irritated. Especially since, like, I already know the person's dead. And what does that have to do with what you're trying to prove, the elements that you're trying to prove? But it's crazy. I had told y'all, Julie, that I liked Miss Love's earrings, but she wears the same earrings every day, so I don't like them anymore. Fran, they are treating it like a murder trial. They're treating it like a trial it's like they're trying to prove each of the overt acts. And it's bizarre, especially because so many people have already served time for each of the overt acts, because people have been charged with and found guilty of crimes associated with the overt acts. I just don't understand it. I don't like RICO to begin with. I think it's a catch-all. I think it's like a way for the government to get you, even if they can't actually get you. And I don't like that. I don't like the government to have, a backup like that and be able to go after us Americans without being able to prove beyond a reasonable doubt the crime or whatever that they're coming after us. I don't like that. It's just wrong. I don't like that the government is using lyrics. I think we have a First Amendment right to free speech and freedom of expression. And to use our expression and our speech against us is exactly what the Constitution is protecting us from. And then we have now double jeopardy issues. We've already had people serve time for these crimes. So now, are you re-prosecuting these crimes? I mean, what is going on here? It's crazy. Welcome, Otero Fran from New Mexico. Thank you, everyone who has been here today. I really appreciate you. All of my members, those of you who gave memberships, those of you who have contributed with money, who have liked, who have subscribed, I can't thank you enough. What I think we'll do, since my trial on Monday was canceled due to a settlement, and their trial on Monday is canceled due to, whatever, I might do, and maybe should, for sure, I'm going to do a bonus content video for you about appeals. We're going to talk about error, types of error, appeals, what happens in appeals, etc. Okay? So on Monday we'll do that. Since we don't have trial, none of us have trial, I think we should do that. So let's do that Monday morning, 10 a.m., okay? Let me look at your questions here, and let me make sure I answer all of them before we wind down. And then I'll see you guys Monday at 10 a.m. Central. All right, so let me go real quick. And just thank you all for being here again, by the way. And thank you for the likes and subscribes and all of that. Let's see. Fran says he was spitting up blood while shooting, but car wash dude said Nut told him it was over while holding him. Now he says choking, not talking. That is why we have a statute of limitations. Now, we don't have a statute of limitations for murder, but the reason we have a statute of limitations is because people forget things, and minds change, and things change. Especially in this case, we have a lot of people who did drugs who no longer do drugs. Their memory is different. We're talking about a time when they're using, Alcatel phones. It's so long ago. And that's just another element of this case that bothers me so much. It's like, where is the statute of limitations? It's wild. I don't think he was shooting back, but he said his last words. I don't think I heard the 911 call. Did they play that over this week? I don't recall. It sounds like a shooting on television. It sounds completely made up. It's all very, it's almost bizarre to me. But sadly, it's not bizarre, because there are so many courtrooms across the United States where people are being prosecuted for crimes that they didn't commit, or with levels of evidence that are lower than beyond a reasonable doubt. Beyond a reasonable doubt is a very high standard. It is a very high standard. It's like beyond any doubt. Like, that's really hard. Yet we have all kinds of people in prison all the time, and surely that standard wasn't met every single time. Now, of course, there are a lot of criminals who are guilty who are in prison, but we have a lot of small government, state government, city government, just like this one, coming after average Americans and ruining their lives, just like this, without the evidence to support it, on a daily basis. And this is, people say, well, can't I do something? Can't we do something about it? Well, all we can really do is vote. There's really not, I think Red Bunny submitted something to the Georgia court system about Glanville's behavior. So usually there is some kind of board of judicial conduct, and certainly we could go through them and discuss the conduct and try to have some kind of result come out. But when I say we, I'm not actually talking about attorneys, because I, as an attorney who goes into that judge's courtroom, I don't really want to be taking them to the state board, because if we go to the state board and they're not removed from their seat, and now I got to go in front of them again, that's not going to be good for my clients. So it's not a system. The checks and balance system in the United States is between the branches of government, not within. Okay? It's between the branches of government, not within. So Cindy, I don't know why that's what I'm saying. It can't really be stopped, because this is the government. They get to do whatever they want. And where are we going to stop them? If we turn him in for his behavior, we could do that, but lawyers who are in front of him can't, because they risk him being there and having an effect on their future clients. And I personally am not going to risk my clients that way. King Cooley, do expert witnesses get paid significantly more than other witnesses, or do other witnesses get paid at all? So non-expert witnesses are usually not paid. Expert witnesses are paid, and usually they get paid pretty well. Jay Capo says, I wonder if the song Bless that dropped last month by Young Thug featuring Lil Wayne is to show that there's no problems between anyone. That's a good point, and maybe they put that together to use as evidence in this case. And since we're using lyrics as evidence, we should be able to use them as counter evidence, right? Crystal, welcome, says, I don't understand why they need multiple witness and so-called expert for each overt act. I agree, Crystal. I don't understand either. I think it's cumulative. I think it's annoying. I don't think the jury is going to appreciate it. Just awful. No, Julie, I do not have the state's witness list. I'm sure I could Google it, but I just never bothered. Brownie, I agree. YFN Glanville got his name because he seems to be helping the state. Now, I disagree when you say it's unheard of. I'm going to argue that all across all of the United States, there are judges who are making rulings based on feelings, who are helping parties when they're not supposed to, who are not applying law to fact. I guarantee it's happening everywhere. King Cooley, stay out of all that Trump business. I have no opinion about it, and I won't. Jean, again, thank you so much for gifting the memberships. I really appreciate it. Gaz, I'm so glad that you're here. I'm so glad that you caught a live, and welcome. Hey, those of you who are watching after, though, like, you're real ones too, and we really appreciate those of you who can't make it live but come and watch afterwards. I just thank all of you. I'm going to watch the 911 call again, but I think he said 2 or 3 words because I remember him saying something. Chan, that would be interesting, and I'd like to hear that call. All right, guys. Good morning. Please go back and see when they were all... Trina says, go back and look when they all was by truck. The person in the white sees something. Look at HW. He's bent. DW looking around. And when the car was coming, he broke running. Trina, I had a really hard time understanding what you're writing there, but I'm thinking that you're alluding to what we were thinking about, is like maybe they were in on it. Red Bunny, did you respond, or did they respond to your complaint? We'd love an update on that. Raya, no, they are not having court today. Welcome. They're going to have court starts again on Tuesday. Glanville, he's being reviewed by his peers. Not really. You know, he's elected, and there's no one to like, hey, you did that wrong. You know, and even if his stuff is overturned on appeal, it's not like that counts against him or affects his work in any way. No, Sarij, no court today. No court on Monday. Toxic Low, welcome. Appreciate you being here. No, I don't think the case has proven, the state has proven their case so far, but we still have, like, I don't know, a year to go, so maybe someday they'll show us something. Get out and get it. Welcome. Glad to see you back. This case is amazingly bad. It just, I don't know. It's so sad. It is so sad, and I really feel for Jeffery Williams and all of the people in that courtroom. He has a support dogs. He's very much in his feelings. Yes, Fran, he is. This case has been spinning around in circles. Yes, Dia, it has. I agree. There's a guy always on his phone right before the shooting. Okay, did you hear the witness said he saw Woody, the guy in Brick Red? I don't think I heard it because I was probably preparing for my trial. I was doing a lot this week. So I don't think I heard it, but I do realize that the prosecution in being overzealous and having too many witnesses to talk about the same event, they outwitnessed themselves, and now their witnesses are contradicting. And that's why you should just stick with like the 1 or 2 you need to get what you need in. Crazy. All right, y'all, don't forget, I am going to be in Atlanta on August 13th and 14th. We're going to physically go to the courthouse and watch the trial live, and then in the evening there will be a meet and greet with me on the 13th. So I really hope that those of you who are near the Atlanta area can come join us, who will come visit us. I want to thank you all again for joining us today. Thank you for your likes, your subscribes, for sending us money on the Cash App, for your super likes, for your memberships. I really appreciate it. All of you are so amazing, and I really do look forward to this day. So I am now going to spend my entire weekend working on appeals and what they are and different type of errors and what that means. And then I will see you on Monday at 10 a.m. to do an extra special show about appeals and error. So thank you for joining us. If you need an attorney, you can reach me at 972-845-1200. Make sure you hit like and subscribe, and then make sure you come back on Monday at 10 a.m. I cannot wait to see you there, and I can't wait to tell you about appeals and to answer all of your questions. So thank you, everyone. Have a wonderful weekend.